everyone, and welcome. My name is Patrick Ciccone, SVP of Sales with Franklin Templeton, Canada. And I'm thrilled today to be joined by my colleague, Alex Lee, who is Head of ETF Product Strategy for Franklin Templeton, Canada. Today, we're at Cboe's Canadian head office, and Alex is going to dive into the main themes driving U.S. equity performance. As we all know, it was a very, very good year for U.S. equities. He's also going to give us a few actionable investment ideas for your portfolios. So Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
And Alex, just to get us started, I know it's been a very good year for Franklin Templeton in terms of ETFs in 2024. Can you elaborate a little more from maybe a global perspective and then from a Canadian perspective?
Absolutely. 2024 was a stellar year for our ETF business. Thanks to the support of our clients globally, we've seen tremendous support for both our index-based and active solutions, hitting key milestones on AUM. In Canada, we were able to bring a number of products that were tailored for Canadian investors, and we also saw continued success with existing products.
That's great. And it's, as we said in the beginning, it's been a very strong year for U.S. equity markets. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what's been driving that performance?
So when looking at the U.S. market, it's been the key innovative companies that have been driving a lot of their returns. So think of companies like NVIDIA, which you can't spell without AI in it. And those have been a strong contributor to the performance. If you look at the U.S. economy as well, it's been quite robust, looking at the labor market, the broad economy, even just looking at the earnings relative to other parts of the market. So I think that's been another key driving force. And lastly, we saw a lot of enthusiasm following the U.S. election results. I think given that we've seen more clarity on who's coming in the next administration and some of the policies that are expected, we saw a lot of enthusiasm that further propelled the U.S. market.
So now let's dive into maybe more specific themes, starting by the Mag 7. So could you add a little bit of more comments around the performance of that cohort?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about U.S. equities without diving into Mag 7, which was a popular theme that emerged last year. So, looking at year to date, they've done relatively well compared to the broad market, albeit not at the same level as we've seen in 2023. And I would say first half, second half has been quite interesting. So looking at the first half, it's been NVIDIA that's been at the center of a lot of the gains. I would say Alphabet, Amazon also have done well, as well as Meta. Fast forward to second half of the year, Tesla has been the strong winner, especially right after the elections. We saw a gain of more than 30%. So that's emerged. Meta has, I think, been pretty consistent first and second half of the year. The other names, I think, has been somewhat lackluster relative to how it's done during the first half. But overall, I think as a cohort, they've done really well.
Alex, one thing I'm quite passionate about is usually factor-based investments. So when we look at the different factors that might have contributed to the strong U.S. equity performance, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if you look at the first half of the year, it's been momentum factor that's been very strong. So the winners from last year continue to show strength. Growth and quality also did quite well, I think reflecting on some of the mega cap growth stocks that are leading the market. Second half, I think, got a little bit interesting. So looking at third quarter, we saw high dividend stocks do well. And I think part of that was we saw bond yields broadly decline. So that was positive. And then I would say looking at quarter to date, it's been more cyclical areas that have done well. So even small caps, mid caps have actually done very well relative to large caps. So looking at year to date, there's been different themes that emerged looking at factor base.
That's great. So for investors or advisors looking for core exposure to US equities, what would be your top picks in terms of ETFs?
Yeah, so I think FLAM Blends is an easy pick for me. That's a low-cost passive solution at 7 basis points management fee. So I think it's a good way of gaining exposure to the US market. And you get exposures to, again, companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, which represent top weights of the index. The other solution that's been very topical with our clients is FLUS, which is our multi-factor solution. So you got factors like quality, value, and momentum that provide the right balance working together while gaining that core exposure. So I consider that more of a core plus approach, and that's been gaining a lot of traction with clients.
Great. So for people that are already well served with the core, do you have a few suggestions in terms of maybe complements to that core position in U.S. equities?
So we have two. FINO is our active innovative ETF solution. So when you think of innovations like your smartphone and what it does for the industry, I think there's tremendous growth, and we're going to see that, I think, with AI, robotics, and genomics. So I think that's a key theme that you'll get exposure to. FLVU, which is our low vol, high div strategy, that is relatively new in the marketplace. We've just launched this in March of this year, but we're seeing tremendous support. I think it's in line with the themes that we're seeing, which is dividends and managing volatility, finding that right balance.
Alex, any final thoughts before we conclude?
Firstly, I'd like to thank Cboe for their partnership. We're glad to be here to share our insights as well as to talk about some of our ETF products. Lastly, I'd like to thank our clients and partners who have made us a tremendous year for our ETF business.
Once again, thank you, Alex, for joining us today and sharing some of your insights. And to our audience, I want to thank you for being here, for joining us. And we're always very happy at sharing our ideas and investment solution. And if you're viewing us on social media, please hit like to let us know that you like the content. If you'd like to learn more, you can also visit our website at franklintempleton.ca.